Hi, this is János, it's River Audio, and I just made a half an hour long video on 3-inch drivers in the LePetit cabinet. And I did that because Hugo asked in a comment why I am not recommending 3-inch drivers for the LePetit, and that's the long version. but but maybe some of you are not so patient to listen to a half an hour rant about the subject and a little bit more than the subject. So here I will give you the condensed version for 3-inch drivers in the Hiraga cabinet. So basically I'm not recommending them for two reasons. And one of the reasons is that even though the LePetit cabinet is using a really tiny 4-inch driver, but the sound that it has is not a typical small single driver sound. It's more for the general appeal, like you come from all over the backgrounds, and maybe you are not a single driver fan, maybe you never even heard single driver speakers. It's for the average person who just wants to build his or her speakers which sound great for the amount of money and effort that you have to put into it, and will work in a good system, and will give you a sound that is beyond the mainstream sound that you are getting in the few $1,000 price range. And if when we go to a 3-inch driver, then these two things come to play. One of them is you are going to get a very typical small single driver sound. There is no way. So if you have a 3-inch single driver, then you have to be of that persuasion. A 3-inch single driver speaker will not work for everyone. Even most 4-inch single drivers in a generic cabinet, not the LePetit but others, will be favored only by a select number of audiophiles. In my experience, about 10% or less than 10% of my audiophile friends like or love or have a thing for the small single driver sound. I have to admit that I have a thing for them, so I really love to listen to that kind of sound. But I know from experience, from seeing my friends and other audiophiles, is that it's not for everyone. It's definitely only for a very select few, and the 3-inch driver size is already that size that if you belong to these select people, you will absolutely unequivocally love it. But if you don't, then you will listen to it once. Okay, I don't want that, take it away, I don't want that. And so that applies to now 9 out of 10 person listening to this video will be in that range. Like if you put the 3-inch driver in the LePetit cabinet, 9 out of the 10 of you will say no, I don't want that sound. But if you put the 4-inch drivers or those 4.5s that I have recommended, then most of you will say, oh, this sounds pretty decent. Yeah, I can. And even if some of you will say, no, it has some areas that are lacking, that I want more, and of course you can get much more in those areas with other cabinet designs, other loudspeaker types, but at 10 times 20 times the price and effort that you put into the LePetit cabinet. So here's just a little emphasis that if you are thinking about the LePetit cabinet, no one ever said it's going to be the best loudspeaker you'll ever hear in your life or any money can buy. No, but it's probably one of the best value speakers ever. And Monsieur Hiraga, Jean Hiraga, designed those cabinets with the purpose of giving everyone access to a design and to plans that you can put together with very minimal skill level, almost zero knowledge about how to build stuff, and it's the main purpose of it was to use the least amount of skill level. And Monsieur Hiraga himself said both in the paper, and he also uh, said it in his email to me, that he has built and much better cabinets, single driver cabinets than the LePetit, but the LePetit is really something that's just a fantastic starting point. And so that's why I really wanted to emphasize it, that if you want to get into building your own cabinets, then this is just a fantastic way to do it. And as every loudspeaker project, either you build it or you buy it, it's to give you experience, so you learn that next time you can do better. And this, the value of LePetit is that you will learn loads of things from it, and it will really skyrocket your journey to good sound. And many of you will, when you build it, they don't want any more than that. So coming back to how a 3-inch driver would work in them, and why I said no 3-inch driver, that's not because I don't like 3-inch drivers, but because the LePetit cabinet is too big for them. So in my long video I show it to you guys that the optimal cabinet for a 3-inch driver would be taking the LePetit and bringing it to half the size. And under half the size I mean half the free air volume. So like if you have a 13-liter free air volume, that's perfect for a 3-inch driver, like a mini Le Mignon version of Le Petit. And uh, and and actually, why you would want to build that, for two reasons. One of them is you don't have enough space for the Le Petit, and that's certainly a case for many audiophiles or some audiophiles. And maybe all the space you have is, maybe you have a bookshelf and then you take out a few books, and that's the only all the space you have for a loudspeaker. You have to like put it in your shelf, and that's it. And for that project, it's viable, the 3-inch version of the LePetit, the 3-inch size driver. It will work beautifully in that environment. uh, but I would say, if you can afford to put it in your room, then certainly go for the original LePetit, like the 4-inch driver or 4.5-inch drivers. Uh, but you could also bring out the 3-inch Le Mignon or La Mignonette, or I don't know how we should call them. And they will probably look really, really gorgeous if you build them with really nice wood. And also much cheaper. You will need much less material to build it. And also, if you are on an ultra budget, the 3-inch drivers are even cheaper than the 4-inch ones. You need maybe like half the amount of wood to make it. You can get by, instead of using like 1-inch thick material, just use a half an inch plywood, half an inch thick plywood for the 13-liter cabinets, and you will be very happy with them. So that's it. But with them you will be more constricted with the maximum allowable volume. So SPL wise, the 3-inch driver will really make you listen to a quiet to average listening, and you can't push them really loud. With the LePetit, you can push them to a volume that's like kind of like a considerable volume, which is like kind of like a loud-ish. They still can't play like super loud, but a decent loud. With a 3-inch, no, forget loud. So if you don't have such desires, and maybe you are really pressed with space, yeah, go for the 3-inch version. Uh, then they will work, can give you very nice sound. In the Hiraga cabinet, if you put in the 3-inch version, that will give you a giant hump at 50 hertz, which for certain material you will love it in the beginning, but if you have the speaker for like a half a year and you are listening to diverse material, it will certainly start to annoy you after a while that there's this boost at 50 hertz. And maybe you want that. If you are looking for that, then it's all the better for you. But if you are not explicitly wanting for a 50 hertz big massive boost, then that's a contraindication for you. So thank you for tuning in. That was the short version. If you are ready for the long one, I will also show some computer modeling to it to back up what the Jabba Yaba is. Then go for it. Have an awesome day. Bye bye.